La.
That's just how I sound at the moment.
Okay,
Well,
whatever you did, fix it.
yeah, you suddenly sound better.
Yeah, I'm just speaking at my normal tone.
It happens.
Okay, well, I'm doing the leg bombs.
Hello, everyone. I got a blender today.
Nice.
I made a milkshake with it.
Blender.
So hello, my name is Andy Paqueta.
You had yourself a strawberry nut milkshake.
It was real good.
I remembered. I am the new angel boy. Da Vinci. The angel boy surrounded by devils. And whatever the fuck Geta is.
Just cut to Da Vinci
and just ignore failsies too.
Just cut to Da Vinci with being the one like angel boy on the couch with all of the devil tiefling characters behind him in the classic meme format.
He'd go for it.
Okay, I just have one more to do. I'm echoing on someone. Yes, hello, I am the Dannebup. I do the Strami. I play the Morrigan. Well, her name's Morrigan. She's not the Morrigan.
You don't know that yet.
I mean, I do.
Jesus.
But you know what? With how you do the DMing stuff, I would not be surprised if that ends up happening.
It's a non-0% chance is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, considering who she follows religion-wise, like...
And where I got the name from.
I did notice something interesting that I could point out later that it might be related to that.
By the way, Andy, for the sake of context, did you listen to the VOD?
No, Kato is a little too lost in a conversation with Madame Elway about doing something.
Okay. I was just wanting to confirm.
Yeah, that she's not gonna pry where she knows that she shouldn't pry.
KK.
Filzy.
I am Velcros. I play the Felzy. And things have been blown up in like 5 seconds. I'm sad.
5 seconds is accurate. There's been a lot of lately.
I am Mythosia. Things have not blown up in 5 seconds. That's fine.
Is it though? You also like explosions.
Mine are much more contained.
That would be a success on the puzzles. Do you have noted down which ones or what you were working on?
I haven't noted down yet.
Okay.
It's still not open.
Okay. Alrighty then. Hello everyone, I am Ash, the DM. I'm going to put a cucumber-flavored lollipop in my mouth and see what it tastes like.
Cucumber?
Surprisingly, yes. It also has chili powder embedded into it, so I'm going to see how that pans out for the rest of this game. Oh. But yes, I'm the DM who leads these group of chuckle fucks through this whole world. Last session consisted of a lot of... I'm going to take this out of my mouth while I'm speaking so I don't sound super weird. Last session consisted of a lot of discussion about the various visions our characters had undergone as a result of the mental tampering of the Jabberwock. But now free of this and potentially with minds a bit lighter, having had these discussions, we rejoin our party as they have now rested and are deciding where the next days will take them.
So I guess we're just starting out with everyone getting out.
Yeah, this is... Sorry about that. That was kind of like an awkward silence there. It's pretty much starting off with the party as you all are waking up for the morning. And Lee has made a breakfast spread for you all. A traditional Lee breakfast spread. Hotcakes, syrup, fruit, granola. Lee's typical breakfast spread that he enjoys making.
I am going to end up back before we even get to the Blossom Kingdom.
That's not true. You'll run around so much, you're not going to end up fat.
Besides, a lot of the food here is very lean.
Yeah. There's
Felsey looks
some... I mean, I can make leaner food if you're concerned about your figure, Felsey. You could also stop using so much syrup.
Felsey just gives a very dark look. It's like, you'll take this syrup bottle from my cold, dead hands.
But there you go. You've made your bed, you're gonna lie in it. Okay, there's the second one. Okay, guys, I only had 2 of those. Other people might want syrup.
I'm not feeling it this morning, so, you know.
I'll go without. Some of us have to keep
Yeah,
up, right? Yeah.
But if we run out before we get somewhere that we can resupply, I don't want to see either one of them freaking out.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that with everything I can find on the road.
I mean, if anyone can figure it out, it's you. So
They might grow. Sugarcane might grow wild around here. Lee just seems to be in contemplation mode.
I don't know if I've seen that. They've got lots of bamboo, but that's not sweet. Shoots are rather nice, though.
They're crunchy. It's weird that something that turns into wood is eatable when it's so small.
Indeed. Always so many inventive things that they do with food around here.
This is true. Alright. So, Dravinci, were you able to get your watch working?
Yes, yes I was. So, I now know which way is north, and if we go straight west from here, we should end up on the road without having to end up in the mountains. However, that does bring something up that I learned last night.
Oh, did you get visited by one of your other godly lover friends?
No. Godly, yes. Lover, no.
Listen, I'm not saying that like you and Ben Granddad like had something, but like it's getting a little suspicious at this point.
Did Evan do a?
Can I at least finish saying what was happening?
Alright.
I, as you are aware, am now becoming Azamara of Altea. So I end up having a chat with her.
That's good.
Mm.
I assume that's good.
It was
Eh,
an interesting discussion. Uh, uh, she was saying that she was being selfish for wanting to be repaired. Uh, I, I'm still holding my intention of making good on what I said I would do. But I digress. She offered me a question to answer. Or to have answered. Because Altea, as I have now come to learn, is not the god of clockwork, is not the god of time. Unlike most of the few understandings of her incline to say that she is. She apparently has the dominion over fate itself. As much of a as much as its tool as its master, if that makes any sense.
Subject to its whims, but able to bend it?
and currently broken.
Uh, so yeah, and she offered me a question. A question that, to, well, you've got someone who basically has full proper access to all knowledge, past, present, and future, and they offered to answer one of your questions. It's a bit of a big ask to be doing all of a sudden, but I digress.
I mean, gods, I guess, tend to offer their boons whenever they feel like it, regardless of whether you're prepared for it or not. At least, I would imagine.
I
But
mean,
anyways,
that's what they do. They're gods. It's kind of their role in a story to play.
So. Go on.
Well, in this case, I had to think on my feet, and what I ultimately asked was, given that we have so many roads ahead of us, so many different outcomes, so many people who some of us would rather see dead, others would, and they would see likewise to us, or worse in some cases. What? So I asked her, what would be the action that we can do that would produce the best likelihood for a good outcome, not just for us, but for, well, most of the world as a whole. And she gave me a very interesting answer. As Da Vinci pulls out a piece of fabric from his bag.
Alrighty. You all see as Da Vinci pulls out this sliver of what seems to be a silken cloth with a very faded design on it.
I don't get it.
Ahead of us, in the Silver Cree Mountains, exists a prison with only one prisoner. A entity that is referred to that Altia herself referred to as one of the most evil Fae.
That's huh.
I mean, I figure Altea is fairly objective in the whole scheme of things, so I don't think that would be the guy we're looking for explicitly.
It wouldn't be. I don't know if.
Mm.
I thought it might have been himself at the time, but thinking on it, it might not be.
I have an idea of where to look for him, and where we're going is not there.
Hmm. No, but instead, she directed me to this entity, saying that even if I know someone is evil, to not hate them for it. Seems cryptic, but I think I might understand what she is getting at. And it seems that our next step, after we get Gregory to the Blossom Kingdom, since we don't know how much time this would take, would be to visit this entity. And I don't know. No, she wasn't admittedly clear on what needs to be done with this entity, either keep them in there or to set them free.
I guess I don't know what she sees that we don't, obviously. Just seems strange, I guess, that
Yeah.
some evil fae would in some way help us do something good. But I guess maybe that wraps around to the point she made to you about not.
There's a number of potential reasons.
Maybe
But we
it
can always-
knows. Maybe it knows something.
I could maybe see if you guys would be up for it. I could see if my patron might have some more information.
I mean, I don't know why that would involve us. That's kind of between you and it, isn't it?
It is still contacting a shade of himself's power for information.
I mean,
And
it's not
from
the worst idea, I guess.
from the stories that I've been told and only slightly read of, himself was the only archfey. Is that the correct terminology, Ash?
Uh,
From what I've been told.
the terminology you would have been told was true, Faye. You don't
So
know what that means.
Okay. We can only assume powerful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I've been told that himself is the only true Fae. So I mean, if I am contacting a shade of his power, maybe he has the information of any other Fae. I don't know. He
Brimstone.
seems like important.
What the fuck is a fake fae? The fuck?
I don't assume that you have like that's like the head of a Fey organization, and then he's put himself at the top because he's the most important.
I think that might have something to do with the difference between what you call Fey and what you call a yokai.
That too. That too.
Or it could be a case of like how we see and know the gods, but as what Elway has mentioned, not all of them are the original to have that power.
Indeed.
I guess that's fair. I mean,
I've
I'd
also
imagine
just never
getting-
contacted a Fae.
I imagine getting there isn't exactly going to be easy because if he's if this Fae, I shouldn't say if, because this Fae is evil and like real bad. I'd imagine there's safeguarded by something.
Maybe the mountain's
Yes.
prison.
I mean,
Altia did mention that he is well guarded by powerful entities. But she did say that this was our next. This would be our best step. Our best next step to do for a longer term goal.
well, I mean, I guess the question at this point is, well, Dravinci, I know that you have the watch. We could expedite our journey to the Blossom Kingdom by sending you, Morrigan, and Gregory forward.
I did not put Mr. Gregory in danger because he's getting out of his stasis area. What? It's just an honest question.
Gregory isn't currently in any form of stasis. He's just he's
just
currently
resting.
napping on a chair.
Tet is more so referring to like the inside of the cart is like a different sort of like thing from the outside, and it's the weird like we are one.
We're gonna have to take him out once we get there, anyways. Gotta.
I just want to be super prepared.
Well, another point to make. Could he even teleport right now?
I guess that's potentially an issue, yeah.
I haven't tried it. As well as also.
I guess if there's a risk involved, we might not want to.
There is a risk involved. I don't know what the exact chances are. All I know is that the knowledge bestowed to me by the timepiece indicates that to teleport without anything like an item from the location has risks. No. And I don't recall seeing any teleportation circles inside there.
And if there are, they're probably for rich people and shit. Like nobility, get around fast.
So there is a risk, and unfortunately, any item that I had from the Blossom Kingdom kinda went down with the ship.
Didn't you recently get sent things by people from the Blossom Kingdom?
Right.
Like
the sending
your
stone
not-
from Kuyumi.
okay, so it's not your not lady friend.
Etta,
Isn't that
Shut
the
up.
one that lives in the tundra?
You can't make me shut up, Dravencha.
She does live in the tundra, but or her native home is in the tundra. But to my understanding, she is currently within the walls of the Blossom Kingdom.
I mean, even then, it might not quantify. I don't know how the magic works exactly, obviously, but
I mean, if you don't use the sending stone, didn't it come in a box?
We don't know where that box is from.
Didn't you also get a letter from her?
Yes, and if
I'd
you're...
assume the letter came straight from at least her hand.
Couldn't you just ask her via the sending stone where they were from for sake of this?
That is what I was quite thinking of doing, or at least asking her permission to teleport to her premises, because I do know, because I have
think
been in her manor before.
I think showing up unannounced might be a little concerning, even if you know the woman.
I don't know if it's
Like-
worth the risk, though.
I mean, probably not.
We're already like what, most of the way there?
No, far from it. It's a multi-week journey, even just traveling on the trade roads.
Um,
Okay then.
I mean, the Buzzy network can reach us anywhere, really, can't it?
Yes, because the buzz can end up being able to fly across the country pretty fast, as well as they have their own set of, I think, teleportation stuff. I don't quite know how they do it.
Oh, I only bring it up because I did have a thought come to mind.
Oh.
That you have the sending stone. You asked Fuyumi. Am I saying that right?
Fuyumi.
Fuyumi to send you something from her estate, so you have an assured kind of anchor point that you know goes there, and then if it comes down to it, then you actually have something that you know for certain is from her, and that would go to her.
Well, why don't you ask? Ori, Viltas? Do you know how to teleport around places?
Sorry, give me a second. I'm looking up the exacts of how the crystal ball scry works.
Is it a particular crystal ball, or was it just a regular?
It's just the regular crystal ball, which I think just gives you the ability to cast the scry spell.
Yes, it gives you the ability to cast the scrying spell.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, so
Yeah, as long as it's not a special one, that's all it can do.
yeah, it's not a special one. So this one,
Assuming
yeah, you have secondhand knowledge of this, so it is a or is a plus 5 to the target's saving throw.
Yep.
DC 10, DC 11.
No, the DC is still 16. The thing just gets a plus 5 to its save.
Okay, well, I just negged 5 off my DC.
I mean, the crystal ball has its own DC, which is 17.
Here's a question though.
I don't
Um,
actually have to.
There is a modifier to that of if you have their likeness or picture, they
Which
get a -2.
You don't.
I don't have
We
You have a picture
their
of the
location.
location, not the creature.
Yeah.
Ah, so only Da Vinci saw the entity.
Yeah, as a point of order, the piece of cloth it looks like a very faded, unrecognizable design to everyone but Dravince.
So
Yeah,
Felzy,
hence Brimstone just, I don't get it.
Felzy just has. There's an evil Fae over there. Okay, let's see what the ball has.
Yeah, basically.
2 very low rolls.
I mean, it is still a Fae. Fae are weird when it comes to divination.
Yes, but they don't have immunity to it. They have immunity to
Fair.
charm. This is not a
Fair.
charm effect.
No, scrying is none. The only way you're
So,
immune to it is if you're immune to all divination spells, like non-detection.
Failsy, roll a d20 for me. And call high or low before you do it.
Hi.
Alright, roll it.
Ooh,
No.
the exact furthest from that.
Because I rolled exactly the same number as the DC. Technically, there would have been a success for the creature to resist, but I left it up to a dice chance to see which side it fell to.
And I believe that's a definitely resist.
Because with 2 dice rolls for magical resistance, still rolled below a 10 both times. So, unfortunately, it does not succeed. You feel the magic of the crystal ball almost connect with something, but it breaks right before you actually start to feel yourself drifting into the scrying vision.
That was just casually puts it away. It was a long shot.
It's almost more surprising that it almost worked.
I suppose I'm assuming everyone's still shouting away. Didn't notice Felzy messing with the ball.
Yeah, you just sort of did that in the background while everyone else was having the conversation.
I mean, either that or we noticed Failsy messing with the ball, but, it's Failsy.
Yeah.
Failsy just magic shit.
If we are considering, if you want to consider my plan of asking, Daventa, you've dealt with Fae. Do you know what kind of things Fae like?
Ash?
Fae or Fae, they like what they like. That's entirely dependent on the Fae. Like, they're just as much individual creatures as anything else.
Well, let me put it like this. You just basically asked me, what do tiefling like?
Is Madame Elway sitting, like, around with us eating?
She's not eating, but she is sitting around.
She kind of looks over, leans up with the biggest, like, doe eyes, like, so Madame Elway, I have a question for you.
She's actually currently sewing a ripped hole in her shawl.
I've got the question for you.
Hmm?
You might have known himself better than, like, most. I wouldn't say most of us, because Granddad probably knew him quite well. Do you
I
know
had
of
a passing
anything?
knowledge.
You'd be the smartest one to probably know this. Is there any kind of, like, maybe flower that, like, himself like?
Clear a space to actually roll my dice on. Almost
Yes.
slapped my keyboard off my desk. I did witness his procession once or twice. And every step he took, sometimes flowers, hydrangeas would grow in his wake. They're beautiful flowers.
That makes a lot more sense now. it kind of summons Vindication to her hand in its side form. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, just the scythe that seems to be a blade growing out of a tree branch from a hydrangea. Or just a branch of a hydrangea.
Alright. So, if anything, I know Mom always said Faye likes sweet things. Then we maybe try to be nice and sweet things and a hydrangea flower. That sounds good. That'll be for after breakfast.
We're not even sure if the Fae there is himself, and
I mean, from what Keto says, it's probably not.
I hate to be selfish, but can we maybe focus on...
Yeah, that's more the concern. Like,
That
this Fae probably ain't going anywhere.
No, I fully more so like I want to get to the Blossom Kingdom first, but it's also good to know what you're going into before you plunge dick first into it.
Apologies
mean-
that I can't focus on that right now.
And no, it's
Also,
fine.
You're also assuming that this Fae follows the rest of their air quotes rules. I mean,
I'm gonna go get Jeep started up and on the walk. We're just
yeah.
heading west.
Yeah, I'll help direct you.
Okay. We need to get a compass so not only you have one.
Fair. I have no comment to that.
I want to
I
get like a ship compass so whenever we get like rocked around, it just goes woo 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 woo. He just jiggles his hand around.
Uh,
And Lee heads out to go ahead and get the cart rolling for the day.
I don't want it to seem like I'm not focused, Morgan, because I want the best school to come in for you. This is also just partial in my wanted field of study. And a curiosity pique.
I understand. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm worried, and it makes me not pick my words right.
I mean, honestly, if I was in your situation, I'd probably be the same. Don't worry.
If it does help you at all, Morgan, I'm currently making sure he stays asleep so he doesn't rush about and get himself worse condition.
It does help.
You're very good at that.
He still needs to eat in the meantime, so hopefully you're letting him wake up at least long enough to eat.
I've actually already found out that he will eat while asleep,
Oh my
which
god.
is a very...
What?
Is that a military thing or just a him thing?
I never learned how to do that. That would have been convenient.
I don't know if Dad could do that.
Probably not.
I poked him in the face with a pancake and he just started eating it.
Oh my god, I think it's a him thing.
I mean, probably.
I mean,
But
hey,
don't worry, I'll make sure to take care of him.
Thank you, Elway.
I'm always here, it's the least I can do.
Grandma's very good at that.
That is what we grandmothers do. We make sure that our children eat.
Well, do you, while we're on the move, I don't know if it might take your mind off of things, but do you want to, Morgan, you're kind of more of the ritualistic person. Do you want to help set up a ritual?
I mean, I can help with setting things out, but I don't know... I don't really actually know many rituals.
Look, you're kind of more so my big sister here, so I'm looking to you for a little bit of, like, you're more knowledgeable in this than I am, at least. and experience.
Okay then.
Let's go to my room.
Alright. And she'll just follow Keta.
Wait, are you done with your breakfast? Did you eat enough?
I mean, her plate's empty.
Okay, good. Pluck up like some of the strawberry juice. Syrup. It's a syrup. And she's going to her room.
Alrighty then. So if y'all are heading off to do that, Lee is getting the cart rolling. Anything in particular that Failsy, Brimstone, and Dravinche would want to work on?
Whereas Belzy will be working on some of the pending things like her new gauntlets and reading book.
Do you have a pair of gauntlets to actually start working on that with?
He bought some gloves.
Alright.
What is it?
Alright, so you're doing that. What about Dravinche and Brimstone?
Wasn't Dravinche acting as a navigator for Lee?
I mean, once Lee knows which way is west, he'll keep you going that way.
Okay, that's fair.
Dravinche would contact Fuyumi, knowing that in the morning this is a pretty good time.
Yeah, most of her activities don't start until the afternoon.
And you probably would take any travel time, if any, to just start drawing up ideas.
Alrighty. So what do you send to Fuyumi as I wait to see if Brimstone's wanting to work on anything?
Don't really have the materials to explicitly work on anything, but to explain my new knowledge, Brimstone is basically just gonna spend the day working on theory crafting new designs and how to make them work for both ballistics and his weapons.
Alrighty then. So the three crafters essentially spend the day drawing and planning.
Basically.
They're all in the living room of the cart, just with sketchbooks and notepads. The middle room of the cart is filled with the sounds of Gregory lightly snoring, Elway sewing, and then just a bunch of pencil scratching.
The occasional paper gets ripped up.
Design no good. Throw away. This is not an age of erasers.
Yeah, really.
Alrighty.
I had written about the little. Nope, I guess I haven't even started these. I just got the magic items together.
Yeah, I think you just bought the resources and you haven't done anything with them until now. Alright, so Armor, just send me the message you want to send to Fuyumi, and then I'm gonna move us over to the other scene.
Righty.
Right. The scene switches to within Keta's bedroom.
Got some chalk out. Drawing circle on the ground. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just the ceremony of it all.
So, what exactly are you doing?
So the theory is, flying by the seat of my pants, creating some sort of ceremony. I don't know. No one really kind of gave me instructions. Did making your pact come with instructions? Because if they did, I didn't get any.
I didn't exactly get any with mine either.
So it's just hoping that the whole ceremony of it all and trying to figure it out is going to appease my patron and maybe get them to want to have a chat.
Oh,
Do you think you could draw like just kind of like a sigil over there? Just kind of hands over some chalk.
I don't know if any of the sigils I know would work for this, but okay.
My kind of theory is just you take it with the gravitas of like an important ceremony.
Fair enough. Morgan will just, I guess, draw some sigils, or a sigil.
Okay.
Ket is furiously writing in what looks to be like, there's some Sylvan, there's some like infernal and like celestial. Alright.
I love how Keta is going with the methodology of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so let's just hope they don't know what I'm doing either.
I just like how Keta's whole reason for bringing Morgan is just, I don't know what I'm doing, please help.
Okay. No,
I am very small, and I have no money. Help.
no.
I'm surprised you didn't bring Felzy in for crazy ritual stuff.
She
Listen,
also
if-
knows that Morgan's more of like her style of magic caster, so she's like she might get it a bit more.
Also, to be fair, if you bring in Failsy, there's like a 50% chance you're gonna summon a sex demon.
And the other 50% is still a sex demon, but made entirely out of acid. So, you know.
Morgan, I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
In your sense of gravitas, dramatics, and maybe of the ceremony, do you think it'd be better to try to do this in my fine clothes, or like butt naked?
Keta, I think you're asking the wrong person these questions. I just kind of sit and meditate when I want to talk to my patron.
That,
I'm sorry, it's just...
Eh.
I'm just telling you what I do for communing with mine.
it's I am treading into a territory that I have no idea what I'm dealing with. But I'm very grateful for my power. I don't remember making my deal, so I don't know exactly like how to contact them. And you seemingly have a not more open relationship with your patron.
Keta, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how I made my pact either. Other than I tried to kill myself by drowning myself in a lake and woke up on the side the next morning with a sword in hand.
Would you like a hug, Morgan? Because that seems like a lot to tell me. Would you like a hug?
It happened years ago, Keta.
I mean, that still does not like defeat the purpose of the question of would you like a hug.
Like I'd ever say no to a hug from you.
Kind of as she's squeezing her, it's like, I think for the proper gravitas of a situation, I think I should do nice clothes.
Fair enough.
Can you help me?
Sure.
And so Keta's gonna get dressed up in her nice fine clothing and summon Vindication again. And she's just gonna kind of sit in the circle and kind of do what Morgan said that like she does, and just kind of like meditate and just kind of like trying to connect that feeling of magic with like the little offerings in front of her.
Keta's meditating. Her thoughts start drifting to Lee.
All right.
I just picture meditating, bored.
All right. Andy,
Yeah.
I would like for you to make 2 charisma checks.
Oh no.
Or a charisma check with advantage, rather.
Too fun. That's a 10.
That dice went everywhere and then didn't even land on a number. Oh, wow, okay. Worked out.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm doing, so hopefully they find this at least amusing.
Alrighty then. This is going to be interesting.
Uh-oh.
So, Keta, you fall asleep.
Like, just full on, like, fall back, like, full on asleep.
I'll flop.
No. You don't flop over. But for the sake of this scene, Keta is not conscious.
Oh, fun.
Morrigan.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a few minutes have passed. You've helped Keta set up this weird ritual. It's a bunch of random shit laid out around her, and just a bunch of just random nonsense words written around her, and like a really nice circle she's sitting in. But there's really no rhyme or reason to anything about this ritual, and you know, it's Fae, and they don't have a ton of rhyme or reason, so maybe that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after the time you spent getting this all set up, and you've just been sitting, just watching Keta, she seems to be meditating, trying to contact something. After a few minutes, you immediately are caught off guard when you looked away for a second and looked back, and the thing sitting where Keta was is not Keta anymore. It's hard to even define it as looking humanoid. What you see in the spot where she was just sitting is this strange... The best way to describe it would be almost as if instead of fur, a deer fawn had scales. With these large, almost moose buck-like antlers growing from the top of its head, and just sharp teeth protruding out from under its gum line. And it's currently seemingly sitting asleep, curled up on itself like how a fawn would sleep. As soon as you make noise, you see one of the little ears flick, and the head just snaps up and looks at you. Its eyes, reptilian, but the slits are sideways.
I'm guessing you're Amilux.
What languages does Morrigan speak?
Let me just pop them into the chat for you.
Please do.
Oh, shit.
Common, Infernal, and Dwarvish. Alright. You just hear it start making this strange chittering sound.
I don't understand.
Gasvan.
Do I recognize that language?
That almost sounded like Elvish.
I understand the language you're speaking in, but not the words.
Common.
Yes, that one I speak.
Why do you call me?
I wish Ket had given me questions to ask.
Keta.
I mean-
Yes, Keta's the one who called you. I was helping her.
I see. It gets up and starts to stretch out its body. And you didn't notice this at first because of how it was positioned, sort of curled up on itself. But it almost seems to have a pair of reptilian clawed hands protruding from the base of its neck. And just another, just, it's very odd looking, especially when now as its mouth is moving, you can see the fact that the jawline does not stop where a deer's would. It trails down the neck.
Mm-hmm.
The young one. I remember. I see. You blink for a second, and suddenly Keta is back in her previous position. And then she just sort of flops over because she's asleep right now.
The fuck was that?
Kenta, you stir as you hear Morrigan speaking.
Was I aware that I fell asleep?
It's one of those things where you're sort of like, huh? You like wake up just like, did I fall asleep?
It's like when you lay down to rest your eyes and you wake up 2 hours later.
Yes.
Why is there a syrup on my face? Now I'm sticky.
Yeah, you like fell right into a dish of it as you flopped backwards over.
No, I gotta take a bath. Why do you look like you seen a ghost?
I think I may have seen what Ami looks like.
Wait, you Kenta gets up and like starts checking Morgan over, making like seeing if there's any parts missing.
Like, no resistance to being checked over. She's letting you check her to make sure she's not hurt or anything.
If you spoke to Ami, like, She kind of like Keta like momentarily like looks in her head, tries to like figure out if Amulux is still in the corner being mad.
Inside your head, you can tell that Omnilux just is not paying attention to the current situation. Doesn't seem to be sulking anymore, just seems to be completely removed.
I don't think you spoke with Amulux.
I certainly spoke with. Well, Keta, you disappeared for a moment.
No, what?
Just for the sake of brevity, Morrigan will describe what it was she saw.
Yeah, how would I know you said for the sake of brevity, but I actually am curious. How would Morrigan describe
Please don't
that?
put me on the spot right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. Never mind then.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
If it helps, there's a picture you could use as a reference in chat.
I see that picture, but based on what was described, it's not
It doesn't
quite
look
the
like
same.
Just a buff game if you have like minor illusion or anything like that.
that. It's fine. You just describe what you saw.
Yeah.
All right.
Do I recognize that description of anything?
I mean, does Kato recognize the description of a deer with scales that has human arms coming out of its torso?
Oh no.
She should.
Keta's just kind of sitting there looking at Morgan like, are you sure? Like, are you fucking with me?
No, and just like, I mean, the eyes were kind of like reptilian, but sideways slitted like a deer's.
Then it didn't attack you?
No, it just seemed more curious than anything.
Okay. So, she's gonna flick her hand and do prestidigitation to show off the version that she met.
Yes, showing off the creature you still don't know the name of, but your corruption took the form of.
So, when I fought corruption, it looked like this. And it attacked me. I don't know if it wanted to like willingly attack me, but like it seemed like maybe kind of sad. I don't know. And so that sounds so. And she kind of like uses prestidigitation to create whatever what Morgan had described to her. You know, that kind of does look similar.
It spoke and like it started like in this weird chittery language that I couldn't understand at all, and then something that sounded vaguely like Elvish.
Oh, it might have been speaking Sylvan.
Maybe?
But that doesn't make sense. But the corruption was supposed to be like the reflection of the corruption that came through the bloodline because Raynham got corrupted. That? Huh? Wait a second. Didn't Raynham actually say that there had been a guardian in place beforehand for the cup?
He said he thought there was, but was not certain. And by the way, for anyone who might be listening who would need familiarization, the corruption that Keta previously faced, just for visual reference, looked strongly like Moldor from the movie The Ritual.
Morgan, I have a weird theory.
What's that?
So, Granddad's not sure if it was there was a guardian placed there, but say there was, and in essence, that guardian was none know if he is because they're still around, is a shade of himself's power because himself put them there, and then the corruption that infected my mom and me transformed it. Well, not them. And then I healed them of their corruption. And now they give me magic.
Maybe?
But I don't know their name. They're like, the way Granddad described it is like they were just kind of like a part of me. I mean, do I call it kind of looking toward, kind of feeling towards that mental connection? Is like, do I call you Keta? Like, what? Like, there can't be three of us.
You don't get any sort of response.
I'll admit I was kind of useless at that. I thought that might have been Omilux, so I asked it as such, and it asked why I called to it, and it said I wish that you had given me questions to ask, and that I used your name.
Did it recognize my name?
It seemed to.
I think we should probably talk with Failsy. Failsy might know more about this. She kind of does the fucked up ritual kind of shit.
Also said you were the small one, and it remembered you?
Oh, I don't like the fact that this might be true. My patron doesn't want to talk to me. But thank you for your help anyway, Marian. You're very sweet.
I don't feel like I really did much, but you're welcome.
I mean, hey, you're here for moral support, and with me, that's always important.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go take a bath before I get yelled at by Lee. And then I'll talk with Failsy about ritual stuff.
Fair enough.
Also, to be fair, there would have been no one to ask that thing 80 sort of questions if Morgan wasn't present.
Are you feeling okay after yesterday? By the way, like as okay as you can be after fighting corruption.
Well, it wasn't able to frighten me. Beyond just, I better kill this thing or it's gonna kill my friends.
I just wanted to make sure.
I'm alright, Cats. I'm just worried about my dad.
Well, and she kind of leans up and gives you like a kiss on either cheek. You go spend some time out with the others and maybe keep their Venture, company.
Jeez, Keta's got more sex on the brain than Da Vinci.
Don't tell him I said that, okay?
She'll ruffle your hair.
And Keta's gonna go take a bath and then try to figure out what. Just think on her patron because what the fuck, dude.
Very weird. All right. you both head out of the bedroom and find your various companions still going about their tasks. I'm going to roll to see if anything interesting happens today's travel.
Oh yeah, so we got attacked by more water.
It's all good. No. Today is an uneventful day, though it does seem to grow cloudy overhead over the course of the day. But progresses largely uneventfully as you all continue moving forward. I forgot that I need to switch it over to not the creepy rumbly music that is the idle music. Cart curves around a path, curves around the large lake that was just to the side of it previously, and has continued on unaccosted for the rest of the day.
Elsie,
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Gonna roll a batch of travel checks.
So she's gonna form what her patron looks like with prestidigitation. I may have summoned them because they give me magic. Do you recognize what this is?
Yeah, you paint the closest approximation of what Morgan told you because that's just how it works in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Felzy pulls out a piece of paper and makes a quick note while that prestidigitation is there.
It stays for an hour and it basically makes a painted picture on a surface. So
Just in case reference this later.
The best information I can give you is I technically fought it once when I fought the corruption inside to get the cup. And now I'm working on the theory that it gives me magic. Well, they give me magic. I don't know what to call them because they haven't given me a name, but names are precious to Fae. So they haven't given me a title.
So you think this might be a Fae?
Well, I mean, my patron has been described as of a state of himself's power, so I mean, himself is a Fae, so that's the logical explanation.
Alright. Failsy, you can go ahead and attempt to make a this should just be a straight intelligence check.
Not history?
Not history, because this would not be something Failsy studied.
Can I bonk and give guidance?
Yes, I will allow.
So straight intelligence?
You have guidance, at least.
Okay. Boop. 22.
Hey,
Give your guidance.
D4.
That's a D4?
Yeah, you add a d4 to it, because you have guidance.
Yes, we never know. Guidance might help.
So she almost rolled a nat 20 again. Just saying.
It's Failsy.
So 26?
Alright, that actually broke the 25 threshold.
Hey!
Which... Listen, I should learn to stop not expecting Failsy to succeed when I make a knowledge roll required.
Failsy's huge, throbbing brain.
Don't be weird about it. Alright. Unfortunately, you still don't get very much. Especially considering this is from secondhand description, so it's as close as Keta can imagine it looking based on what you saw from your corruption and how Morrigan described it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the corruption version that you saw was basically just a creature made of shadow in a similar form.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. And give me a second, I have to actually go look up this this name real quick because I didn't expect this to be a success. Time to pull up my OneDrive.
As Kata's just kind of like just rattling off any like descriptor details she can. Because so, given that it was said to be a part of me, I was thinking if they do not give me a name, that we find one approximating close to Kata, because at this point, why might not there be three of me?
Bells is just sort of tapping her pen against the paper as she's just following her own train of thought.
I think you might be proud of me, Failsy. I made a ritual all on my own.
How'd that turn out for you?
Oh well, Morgan got to see them, so it worked out in a sense. Apparently, I fell asleep. I don't remember it. I got peach syrup in my hair though.
I would chalk it up to a failure then. Anything that ends up with peach syrup in your hair is a failure.
That could lead to a fun night.
Nah, peach syrup's too sticky and actually creates more friction.
I mean, I was talking about like. Never mind.
You weirdos.
I was talking about cake, but okay.
Are you going to eat cake all night?
I mean, I have. My record is 4 cakes in a night. You can ask Brimstone, it was not a pleasant sight.
I found its name.
haven't seen Yuan Ti with the biggest heartbreak do things like that.
So you might want to be ready to write down a name.
Okay.
Yep.
Failsy, that looks very similar to a type of fae that has been recorded in history, but to most scholarly recognition, it has never been seen. At least not in modern times. It is a Scullum Ithr,
Oh god.
which I will type out.
Norwegianish? Gulamita.
Skolometer. And it's Scullum Ithr. Like the I is pronounced harshly. For what you know of them, and this is sort of where their name comes from, given that most of the scholarly text you have is written in the old human tongue. They are referred to as the Scaled Walkers. It's just a creature that roams the land for seemingly no identifiable purpose, but they would often appear in places of battle or places of hardship. And the role they would end up playing in those situations was always strange and varied. It led a lot of scholarly traditions to question whether or not this is a good or evil creature. But given the fact that it's not your particular school of study and it's just not a very well-known creature to begin with, that's about all I can give you.
So do you recognize it at all?
I do actually.
Oh wow! I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. You're very smart.
I think I saw this in a sort of old historic beastery once. I was doing a bit of a tabletop game with some of your auntie girlfriends. We're looking for inspiration on the end bosses and field things. Anyway, yeah, this will be a Skolamita. Skolamuta. I can't really pronounce it correctly. She'll scribble down a name.
Skolometer.
Yeah. It doesn't really exist anymore. Or at least no one's seen one in modern day. It usually was the failed workers. They just sort of roam around, appear at battlefields or play hard shit. No one really knows why or what they're doing, or if they're causing it, or taking part of the hardships around them. It's not very well studied.
And somehow, yet, I end up with one as my patron.
Apparently, yes.
Well, I never thought I'd ever meet a fae that described my entire existence. We haven't seen one in a while, and it's, we don't know if they're good or evil, and it's wow, I didn't think I'd relate to a fae.
Hey, Keta,
What?
I think this looks like a meat cake.
No! He's not a meat cake, it's his friend. It's a friend. Not a meat cake.
Listen,
Ah,
all creatures possess the ability to be a meat cake.
I was referring to the old Tim joke
No.
with how this thing looks like a deer and a lizard got smashed together.
I think it looks kind of cute. I kind of want to pet one.
You are one.
No! Well, so we know what my patron is, in a sense, but I still don't have a title. That's the most infuriating part, is I don't have a title, and I can't... I guess the elusive nature still sticks and just kind of, I guess, sticking around, but not wanting to talk.
I would need access to a library to dig up any more information. Maybe when we get to Blossom Kingdom, I might have some for you.
I mean, yeah, given we're in the Fae country, never know.
Mm.
But from memory, this is not something I really studied. It was kind of more on a whim.
We only
And-
have,
We ended up not using it anyway because the games just devolved into sex.
not gonna ask you any further.
Good, you would get an answer.
Well, I mean, so somehow, some way, my not a ritual worked, and at least contacting, but it was all just kind of nonsense. It was more so just kind of taking it with the whole seriousness of like one of my mom's ceremonies.
Maybe it's more just intent than actual motions.
I mean, I guess. I really want to. Maybe yokai like off like when like dealing with yokai, you traditionally leave offerings, right, Dravenche? If like you want to get on their good side.
Depends really on the entity. Some will gladly accept offerings of booze or shiny trinkets. Others would be more aggravated that you even dare to
Acknowledge it
to
could
pay
be
attention to
expensive.
it.
All right. Well,
But booze
maybe,
tends to be a very good offering.
maybe you're right, Dravenche. Maybe it's the intent behind it and not, I guess, the exactness of it. Maybe I just need to start building a friendship like I need to do with Amilux, though hopefully they're more willing to talk to me than she is. Well, no, they are. Both they. I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna make some dumplings.
Alright then, glad to help.
Thank you, Felsin. If I want to try to make another ritual, I'll see if you want to participate.
Maybe I'll get to see the weird thing.
It's not weird. It's a friend. They're a friend.
Friends
You
can
know
be
what?
weird. You're evidence of that.
And sticks her tongue out as she goes into the kitchen and starts trying to like look for a dumpling recipe.
You find Lee's cookbook, the tome that it is.
She's being very gentle with it.
The moment you touch it, Lee's head just slides in the front door of the cart.
Because what do you think you're doing?
Keta,
What?
what you looking for?
Dumplings. I'm looking for dumplings.
Page 47.
Thank
Mm,
you.
Wait a second. This style dumplings or Granum style dumplings?
I don't know. Is there a real difference?
Yes. Granum style dumplings are like little wads of bread that you cook in soup. This style dumplings are like filled buns.
I might want to try this style dumplings then.
143. The head leaves the cart.
Lee's head will be back tomorrow for more delicious food facts.
Hey, it's an important distinction when you're looking up a recipe for dumplings, because that's two very different things that you both call dumplings.
Mm-hmm. I made that mistake once. Made for some very weird dumplings.
And yeah, I think Eta's just gonna spend some time making some dumplings with the intent of giving them to her new friend, the Scalameter, though she does not have their name.
Alrighty then. Let's go ahead and take a bio break here. Going ahead and making this a known fact, we're probably going to go a little bit over tonight because I want there's another event that's going to end up happening that I want to get to. And I want to get through more than one day of travel.
Yeah. 5 to 10 people. I'm gonna go check my laundry.
Fair. Myth, you're usually the one who needs to leave the earliest. Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
Like, probably the latest will be 11:30.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So Ash,
So, Andy.
what the fuck?
Fuck the what?
What?
What? You never asked what it was.
I didn't know this would be a patron.
I'm not at liberty to answer your questions.
You think you get to choose your patron?
You think that's your patron?
I know, man. We're specifically creating a ritual to call upon my patron, and they still. I mean,
That doesn't mean your patron is going to answer.
I'm going to point out something that is kind of like a thing that I think people are ignoring that has been mentioned a few times already. Doing something with enough intent and confidence in this region can
Causes it to
literally
happen.
make it work.
Yep, that's why that's why Da Vinci mentioned it's like maybe it's just your intent on the matter is actually what caused it to work.
Yeah, because that ritual would have done nothing normally. Because it was not actually a ritual. You just threw a bunch of randoms together. But
yeah, that's good. Just said no one gave her like instruction book, so she's just flying by the seat of her pants.
But yeah, that's why I had you roll the charisma checks to see if the magic of the area would respond. I then proceeded to roll my own d20s, and one of the dice numbers I rolled matched yours.
Listen, there's gonna be two real options how Keto is gonna perceive this ritual. Either of them are gonna be fucking weird.
One of them involved her being naked, apparently, so I'm uncertain.
Listen, it might have involved, just kind of making a circle out at night and just dancing around naked.
Traditional witch habits.
Yes.
Dancing around fires naked at night, masturbating openly in the woods. You know, the works.
Yep.
She doesn't. Again, the Fae are fucking weird.
It's a
The
good thing
Fae
it
do
weren't
enjoy a bit of public nudity.
Faye do enjoy fuck.
like Elsie then for advice, because she would have steered you directly towards that, and actually forgot that you're trying to summon something.
You want to just be naked in the woods together?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise any of us.
What she's doing out here? It is like, we're trying to summon my patron. I was like, oh right, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Totally.
Definitely not just jamming to the sound of our own heartbeats in the woods.
It'd be even funnier as if it's like, all right, Jamel, we need you to come with us because we're gonna be naked in the woods and we need somebody to protect us.
Okay.
Patsy's going to be naked in the woods? Okay. I feel like
And
that's
then-
the logic for Jamel.
And then we tell no one else in the party. It's just like, why are you guys walking outside naked? No reason.
It's mostly just oh, you guys are going to be naked in the wood? I don't want you to get murdered while I'm not paying attention.
I feel like Failsy being naked is just a bonus, though.
Listen, Jamel doesn't have to try to witness that.
She doesn't have to, but
She's never
will
going
she
to turn
turn?
down.
Yeah, I was like, will she turn down the chance to see it? No.
We invite Lee to the circle. Listen, you can get naked. You don't have to wear a shirt, dude. You don't even have to wear pants.
I'm fine with wearing pants.
Yeah, she just doesn't like wearing a shirt.
I'm only imagining just the fucking like local yokai just like, what the fuck are they doing?
They'd be cool with it.
They're still cool. They're cool with it. It's just like so there's a show going on tonight.
Yeah, basically.
Had the second ever encounter with a yokai is when she's dancing naked in the woods.
I mean,
Yeah, basically.
it's average first encounter with a yokai.
No, it'll be her second.
Still an average encounter with a yokai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because her first interactions with the yokai that she at least is aware of was our snake friend.
Yeah.
For all Ketchup could have known, she was interacting with Yoko the entire time when she was, on the run. But
I mean, she would have been.
but she didn't know to how to look. It was more so that's a person.
Dance,
Also-
dance, dance.
I really can't believe there's a fucking fae that just describes Ketch's existence. It's like, we don't know why it's here. It could be evil, it could be good. It's kind of vibing.
Oh, that's what you meant, brother.
Also, I loved everyone talking about, do we trust this Fae? Like, how could this Fae help us? It's evil. And just Failsy sitting in the back there like, I have been
Vibrates in
the
evil.
most helpful person ever.
The thing is Failsy even consciously aware of the fact that she's evil, as far as the alignment system goes?
That's why I wasn't really saying anything, because
Failsy's just Failsy. She doesn't care about good or evil.
the most
Who gets to
evil thing is,
decide?
like, this thing must have been eating children to be able to repel someone like Failsy.
I mean, Failsy likes eggs.
Or just has really good magical defenses, or its its area is warded against divination magic.
Or he just didn't have enough knowledge for it and just didn't succeed the role.
No, I mean, if we ever come towards it and find out what it did, it would have to be really, really bad for Failsy to go, yeah, that's evil.
We'll see.
Dependent on what kind of recipe Ketcha would have found, I think she would have made some fruit dumplings with a little bit of mix of any kind of leftover meat dumplings. Just because she doesn't know what Fae eat.
Food.
It doesn't.
The essence of other living creatures.
She doesn't know a certain Fae like meat over, fruit. That's just
Hockey
that'd be mean.
pucks.
So she's making both.
People's shoes. Your left
Or
sock. Only the left one. Yeah, by the way, it's the Fae that always takes the sock that's missing.
I really can't wait for if what we saw is Ketcha's patron, Ketcha is just me, and it's everyone's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, oh, you're so cute.
I mean, how I described it probably made it sound freakier looking than it actually was.
I don't know, I think it was
But
the
it
mouth
is-
part.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to look freaky. There's no denying that. It's supposed to look freaky.
Ra, that is my chair.
Given that it's kind of
it. It is now his molder.
given it seems like it's just an omen that shows up occasionally. Yeah, I would suspect it looks freaky.
No more terror, this is my chair.
Mother, please do not make me move. I
I
am
already did.
comfortable. I was comfortable.
Well, I need to be able to sit.
Mother!
I am delightfully chunky.
I am delightfully chunky, very warm, and huggable.
I imagine in the sense what you described can look kind of cute.
It looks cute as you could imagine a fawn that has scales.
Ketcha, what is that? It's my new friend.
Hello, I adopted it. I don't know its name, so I call it Billy.
I think more so they adopted me.
Mutual adoption.
Yes.
I don't know if they are actually baby, but I
Right.
think they like baby.
They might be ancient, I don't know, but they like me.
Is everyone back?
Is Emerald here?
I'm not hearing armored.
I don't think so.
I guess not then.
Such the cookbook. No what? Slowly puts away cookbook that she was totally touching.
She was allowed to touch it.
We have like a built built stand for the cookbook to sit on so it doesn't get dirty.
No, just sometimes it floats. You don't question why.
Here's the bigger question: does it only float for Lee?
No, sometimes it just floats.
Sorry about that. I get up to just have a single pickle, thinking it would take me all of 10 seconds, and I end up spilling pickle juice all over my kitchen.
Ah, that's always fun.
I just want a pickle, and the whole house is on fire.
Anyway, I'm good to continue.
Listen, sometimes you just want a pickle, and other times you light your whole existence on fire. Alright. If everyone is back,
Yee.
Myth is present. I guess
Myth?
not.
Hey,
I'm
Myth?
here.
Wasn't he? Okay, I guess he stepped away. Or he's muted and not responding.
He's muted.
But it could be that he's there and just forgot that he's muted or.
Okay, I guess he stepped away because he's not responding in a text or in a vocal format. We're good.
Mhm.
So, continuing forward. So, I just did a batch roll of day checks. And we'll handle like mechanical rolling for things you guys might be working on between sessions just so we don't bog down session time with it. But the next several days of travel go by uneventfully. The party experiences a couple of days of somewhat heavy rain, and some temperate climbing towards colder weather, but it is largely uneventful.
Should Vinci manning the cart on that day, just snuggled in a bundle of his warm cloak.
Yep. It is only after you all have reached back to the main road and have been traveling on it for a few days now that something different happens. On this particular day, it was another day where... Actually, I'm going to roll to see who might be... of everyone who potentially could, who would like to suggest them as a roll result for who would be manning the front of the cart this day?
Vinci would, once they're on the main road.
I
That was a-
I'd offer just Keta's not manning the cart, but she's lookout point.
All right.
I suppose they take it in shifts because driving can tend to just make you very sleepy after a while.
Pretty much, but yeah. So I heard Dravinche, Failsy, Keta.
Hmm.
Brimstone and Morgan.
I mean, I guess.
If everybody's taking turns, yeah.
All right, then I'll just put it amongst the entire party for potential outcome and see who it ends up being. One, two, three, four, five, six. Because Lee is also a potential result. I'll just use the Discord chat and roll a d6 to see who it be. So, Brimstone, you are the one at the head of the cart when this event happens.
Oh, okay.
And I'll see if anyone is riding alongside you in this particular moment. Not at this moment. But while you are driving the cart, and it's getting later in the day to the point where you should probably be pulling off the road to basically have the... What is that gif? Alright then. But it's getting later in the day to the point where you'd pull the cart off the road so you all can bed down and sleep for the night. Not have to worry about getting in the way of people who might be traveling on the road in the evening. Oh, the joys of having magic cart with beds inside. Something catches your eye, which is a hunched figure who is just walking along the side of the road. Just seems to be potentially like the figure of an elderly woman who is just very slowly making her way forward with a cane to assist her to walk.
Like she's just like walking down the road or like across?
She's walking like along the side of the road, heading pretty much in the same direction you are. As if she is heading towards the Citadel. And you can see that she does have a very large pack on her back. Probably the reason why she's so hunched over.
And it's getting to be pretty late.
Yeah, like at this point the sun is starting to go down.
I don't know what to do. Because it could be a fae. Maybe. I don't know. Should I help? Maybe it'll fuck us over. Maybe it won't.
I mean, you do have the door to the cart right behind you if you wanted to put your head
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah, just basically... Yeah, just... Poking, just... Vinci, I need you to come out here for a quick second.
Certainly. Dorinci will come and poke his head out from the front of the cart.
Just about 100 meters ahead of you, you see this very like hunched old woman just walking along the side of the road.
Like, normally I'd be like, hey. like, offer hospitality, but, like, I don't know if that's gonna fuck us over. It could be a fae that fucks us over, or the yokai or whatever. It could not be. I don't know.
So, above game question, I know of yokai, of there being yokai that disguise themselves as elderly women. Does Dravinche know?
I mean, you're fairly aware that yokai can take the form of humans in general. To the point where it's a pretty easy thing to ask yourself if any person you meet on the average day was potentially a yokai in disguise.
I do admit, an elderly woman, a few days out from any town is suspicious, and you are right in asking if it is a yokai. Most yokai don't immediately attack outright, so we could at least ask questions.
I mean, I'm not so much worried like it's going to attack us, more like we'll wake up and, like, I don't know, Jeeves is fucking dead? Or I don't know, it fucking stole half a cat of soul or something. I don't fucking know what these things can do.
There's a number of different things they can do. Some of them prey on innocent passerbys, others... It's a... Others, not. Others are more innocuous.
At this point, you're only about 50 meters away. Probably closer than that, honestly.
But if we are to talk with the yokai, I think I should be careful.
I mean, any of us should. Unfortunately, you're the one who's probably most likely to speak the language, other than maybe Ketra.
Well, then, and we don't know if this if this is a yokai, if they have any connections that might be unfavorable.
I mean, maybe.
These
I
two,
guess.
these two are just huddling in front of the door now, aren't they?
It would depend on if Dravinche stepped like outside or if you're literally just standing in the doorway towards the front of the cart.
He's more standing in the doorway.
So yeah, anyone in the main room would be able to see the fact Dravinche is like poking his head outside to talk to Brimstone.
Is everything okay?
Kind of like as it would be approaching, Brimstone would have switched to Infernal. Not that it matters, because everyone in the cart, every player character in the cart can understand.
Yeah.
Is everything good?
I mean, there's like an old woman traveling, and like,
Do you want to see if she wants to camp next to the cart?
well, also I don't know if like, it's a yokai, and we'll wake up and something gone missing, something vital's gone missing or something. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
As you're discussing, you actually watch as she suddenly collapses.
Shit. That's like
what
just kind of look at
happened?
Dravinche like, are they supposed to do that? What the fuck?
Can I rush forward? Like, I
You
heard
don't see.
Brimstone go shit, so I wanted to like go towards the door of the cart.
Okay, the front door of the cart can only accommodate one person in it at any time.
Yeah.
It's meant for someone to get in or out of the driver's seat. It's not a
Yeah,
big
so-
door.
Venture is in the way right now.
Fails is getting annoyed at these and just sort of opens a side door to look out, going, "What the hell's going on out here?"
There's no side door.
It has a front and a back door.
Okay, she pops open the back door and looks and just sort of swings out to the side.
All right. As you do so, you just see the slumped figure on the side of the road that the cart at this point has now reached.
Oh, for the love of! Just gets out like,
Yeah, like at this point, like if it's bait, Brimstone doesn't like the fact that he's falling for it, but stop the cart. That and
Fails is not privy to the yokai questions, but he's not thinking yokai.
Yeah, if I can I follow Failsy out the back then if Dervince's taken out up the front?
You can. For future reference, whenever situations like these are occurring, it does not imply the entire party is present to hear everything, everyone.
That's
I mean,
Quiet
we're all in the-
conversation that those two were having at the front of the cart.
that's why I was asking if they're outside or in the car.
Yeah, and then since we heard him go shit, that's why it's like, oh, something happened.
Okay.
Seeing- Can Da Vinci see the other two getting out of the cart?
I mean, you hear the back door open behind you.
Yeah, just look.
What are you two doing?
Old lady collapsed on the road.
Well,
It's
something
a
was going on.
Da Vinci is just going to shout in Infernal. It's a potential yokai. We don't know. It could be very easily a trap.
Alright, so at this point, Brimstone, do you stop the cart as the other two have jumped out?
did it not go through? Because I did. Yeah.
I didn't hear you say it, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. At this point, yeah. Brimstone's just like, well, if it's fucking bait, then I guess falling for it. Fuck.
Okay, then. So yeah, you stop the cart just as it's starting to go past them, and Keta, you and Failsy hop out the back of the cart and make your way around. You just see this slumped older woman just basically laying in a heap on the ground, breathing heavily, as if from exhaustion.
Failsy, do you think you can help me? We could probably help her a little bit by getting the pack off. That looks ginormous.
Miss, you okay? He's gonna sort of gently shake her shoulder.
You just can hear like the labored breathing. Like maybe
Nice.
she tries to say something, but it doesn't form a word.
Hmm.
I was gonna help try and get the pack off them. So they
Yeah.
can walk.
Yeah, get the pack off, and then if it helps, Keta's just kind of pump a healing light into her, just kind of give her a steady breath, kind of at least sit her up a bit.
All right, I need the both of you to make a strength check to try to get this pack off, because it is heavy.
Failsy can't Gordon Freeman away out of this one.
Nope.
Oh, that's a 3.
3.
It's athletics, but that's also a 0.
3. You both try and tuck the pack off of her. You just sort of accomplish in like rolling it over, so now she's like laying on her side with the pack, at least not laying on top of her.
I mean, that's better than before.
Yeah, it's no longer crushing her.
I need to finish up my new gauntlets.
Are you okay, ma'am?
I'll be fine, dearies.
Why don't you sit for a little bit? You look exhausted.
I think I will.
Yeah, can I reach out and kind of just touch her arm and use a healing light to maybe, if in an effort, just to help steady her breathing.
Yeah, you do so, and you do feel the healing light take hold.
You should
So
feel a
she
little bit.
probably was injured in some way.
Oh, you um. Uh, give me a moment. We could probably find somebody to help. Do you mind if we help you get off that pack? It might help you breathe a bit better.
I just need a moment, is all. And she writes herself to at least be sitting at this point. Yeah, you see this is definitely seems to be an older human woman. Exactly how old, it's a bit hard to tell. Probably in her, you would hazard to guess 80s, maybe 90s.
Kit is gonna kind of take off her water skin and kind of offer it up to the woman, like here, dear.
Oh, thank you, dearie. I'm quite parched.
What's got you traveling out this far?
Oh, need to sell the wares from my village. I'm the one with the know-how.
They didn't send you with a cart?
No. The oxen of the village need to stay with the farm. I'm fine. I've made the trips many times in my day.
You don't have any sort of apprentice who could learn to do this up for you?
Um, I did have a young one, but the unfortunate has occurred.
Mm. Um, what's your name?
My name? One of those weird things where I wrote the name down in English and did not grab the translation for it.
Oof. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they was Ash not remembering the name or her trying to be evasive.
It's particularly why Ketja asked, like, she's aware of the area. That's why she asked for her name first and not giving her name.
Aburai.
Abura. That's a very pretty name.
Listen, sometimes I write my names down in the language I can actually read,
No, that's fair.
and then forgot that I need to write the phonetic translation of the word for pronunciation's sake.
Would you like maybe something to eat? I know I'm no real doctor, but you seem like you've been traveling for a while and you're probably very exhausted.
Right. I have food in my pack. I'm fine, really, dear.
Can I make an insight check?
Certainly.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, Dravinche, you're present. Morrigan, did you want to come out as well to see this, or are you staying in the cart?
She's at least, like, poking her head out the back of the cart watching what's going on.
Fair enough.
Thought it was kind of following.
I don't know if I would be
It's up to you.
close enough to catch this because
You can at least hear the conversation going
Okay.
on, because you're like, I assume you're still in the driver's seat.
yeah,
Potential panic floor the wagon.
it's more of just they were talking very quietly, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you're like at most 5 to 10 feet away from what is being said.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Just not really wanting to outright trust, but I'm not as good at reading people.
So, insight?
Or I guess maybe rather, Brimstone is looking for signs of yokai and not knowing what he's looking for.
Well, you don't see any signs of yokai, but that's probably kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. Like looking to see if there's something off, but I'm not finding anything.
As for all of your insights, just seems to be an old woman, probably carrying more than she should because she's used to being able to. Maybe gotten a bit over her head and has pushed herself a little too hard for too long. Doesn't really... I mean, inside or not, definitely there's the obvious situation is it seems suspicious, but you're not getting any like direct warning flares from how she's acting.
You're selling things, right?
Oh, yes.
Uh,
Medicinal herbs, services. I am actually something of a healer by trade. A healer and artisan.
If you're willing to sell, maybe we can lighten your load just a little bit.
Oh.
I mean,
No,
I'd be willing to buy.
No, you've already been so kind as to stop and help an old woman on the road. I couldn't possibly ask coin of you.
Yeah, I mean, I would be offering to pay for your goods and or services.
Perhaps
gives you
something
time to
of
rest.
a service, but I would not have you pay for it. There's not enough light to do my work by, though, out here. She shrugs off the pack and reaches, like, basically uses it as a surface to lift herself up onto her feet with. And seems to start digging in it. Maybe I have some candles in here.
We can make light out here.
Yeah, I'll form some light for her.
Oh,
Using a
magic user.
He nods.
Internally, Brimstone's just like, like, yes, this could be an old woman who's just not used to magic, but also just like the sound of fascination is just like, I don't like it.
Naturally distrusting Brimstone.
Exactly.
I don't like it.
If it was anyone else, he'd be more okay with it. But you know, that's the baby.
I've got some candles I can grab. Be right back.
Yeah, these lights will serve us for now, and Keto will kind of use her light cantrip to make some like, little globules.
Elsie does not have a light spell at all.
Yeah.
In the explicitly need them.
Yeah. Actually, due to the light, you actually can see this woman more clearly now, whereas previously you were kind of getting to the point of relying on dark vision to see. Let us not forget, you do not get a clear image with dark vision.
It's all gray.
It's all gray and details are lost.
It's all gray, unless you're a fire genasi, in which case it's all red.
Yeah. Some people, it's all blue. But yes, as you're looking...
a fire genasi that's colorblind.
Everything is brown!
Anyways, sorry.
Now that you're seeing this woman in a bit better detail, she looks like she is injured due to the fact that her head has bandages on it, some of her arms are bandaged up. You can see her hands where some of her fingers have like small bandages wrapped around them.
Elsie
Like-
sort of narrowed her eyes, like, were you attacked?
Oh no, this is the hardships of farm life.
Would you like a little bit of healing?
I felt that something graced me with some healing a moment ago. I assume that was one of you.
Give a little awkward wave.
Oh,
I grew up
Oh,
around lumberjacks. I understand the pain.
you are most kind indeed.
I think Morgan would come back at this point with a couple of her candles.
Yeah, you do so, and she's actually pulled out like a few candles herself in a small like tinderbox.
Spooky.
Fails the doubt.
Yep, doubt.
Failsy
Failsy presses
sure-
X.
No, Failsy's mashing X at this point.
Boom, 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 boom.
She doesn't know farm life, but she's seen farmers and they don't have bandaged heads. Did she like roll under a tractor?
I mean,
Get run over?
yes, that thing that definitely exists here.
Well, not the tractor, but did she get run over by the farm animals or something?
Well,
I
you
mean-
did see her fall over. It may not be the first time that's happened.
Yeah, this pack is large enough for both of you guys to.
Not be able to physically lift it up.
Yeah.
But we're also noodle arms.
True.
Well, your average strength.
Monaghan, as you
Indeed.
step out and she starts lighting the candles.
Do you only work in the day? When it comes to your services?
It does make them easier.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, considering, kind of hard to see at night.
Indeed.
Very important for urban identification.
Yes. One of my biggest services is that I make protective charms. I'd like to make you one, if you would like one.
I would like that.
She looks you over a little bit now that the light is about. And are you going to continuously keep casting light, or are you just going to let the candlelight take over?
I think it lasts for an hour.
Does light last for an hour, or is light one of those things that
Yeah.
lasts for a minute?
Give me a moment. I'm popping it up.
Light lasts for 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought it
it's-
lasted for a minute.
It's dancing lights that last for a minute.
Oh, that's right.
and
Support
in the sake of Keta seeing that this woman is injured and knowing that physical labor can take a toll on somebody who's older, she's gonna kind of allow some light to flow into her and maybe ease her pain a bit more.
Alrighty then. Yeah, you don't see any immediate visual change, but she's also already seemingly bandaged the injuries that she does have.
It sets her on a good road. And if,
Any new wounds she might have incurred have probably been.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you have something that you think a charm would aid you with? At this point, she's pulling out this, seems to be like a long stone with this wheel with handles on it. Looks like some sort of grinding device, and several strange plants, as well as a scroll of paper and a calligraphy brush.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I'm not really from here, so I don't. I know vaguely how my friend described your charms. Sorry, I must sound absolutely terrible.
You sound like a foreigner. We're used to that in this part.
I also pull out a amber shard and hold it out. It's like, will this do?
Hmm?
The
She
I
looks
mean-
at it, just curious why you're showing it to her.
Like, will this do as a charm?
Well, like she's pulling out. She told you she makes talismans.
And I
No.
think what she's
She's asking if we have anything that we need protection from.
Oh, I thought it was
Not,
charm from.
n-
No.
not charms like that.
Never mind. I misheard.
I mean,
in general protection, I tend to attract a lot of attention. You know, look at this cute face.
I mean,
You are right. You do have a very cute face. I know. A charm to make sure that no ill-spirited men draw their eye upon you.
I like that.
She nods a few times. And just almost robotically, she just seems to begin working.
Hmm.
Just in this dim, growing darker by the moment candlelight. Just grinding up various herbs, pulling out a container of black powder, mixing herbs into it, and mixing in water from a skin that is on her bag. On her bag. Man, my voice is not going to work sometimes. Just mixing in these strange substances together to produce this thick paste that the more liquid is mixed into it, it slowly becomes almost like a ink or a paint.
I'm watching entranced.
Yeah,
Um,
you've purchased paints and such before, but I don't think Keta herself has ever actually seen paint be made.
No, she has not. All of her paints kind of have come as gifts.
What were you about to say, Dravinci?
just because he's seen people work with calligraphy and potentially like sellers in marketplaces producing similar talismans. So just wondering if Dravinci could make a insight check to to get a gauge if there's anything off about this, or is this just regular paint, regular strokes of a practiced practitioner.
That would more be a religion check. Because you would be aware that talismans are produced by priests and priestesses.
Okay. So may I do a religion check?
Of course.
13.
I mean, looking this woman over and based on what she said, it doesn't sound explicitly like she would come from a faith background. But you're watching the actions of her hands, and they look practiced, and it certainly does look like at least the visible presentation, everything being done, it looks like what you've seen performed at temples before. Obviously, it's not typically something done on the side of a road, lit only by candlelight in the dimming evening sun. But, I mean, at least the skill she is presenting and the items in play, they look correct. Definitely much better than you've seen some random stall vendors just producing like dime a dozen charms to be sold to random people on the streets.
Okay, while she's doing this, Dravinci is just going to comment. You have a very practiced hand.
I have done this most my life. I've seen many autumns pass and many springs come.
You must have so many stories.
A few, though. You all look to be travelers, so you probably have many more. I've walked this road more times than I can count, but I seldom walk another.
Any story is important.
And she draws another brushstroke on the paper. Another any story of interest. Well, since we're in the area, have you ever heard the tale of the sisters intertwined?
No, I have not, and I'm very curious.
She continues drawing, stroke after stroke on this paper. She seems to be drawing out characters in the language of the Draic Empire, which they speak Common, and some of them speak Elvish, but the actual characters here are not written in the Common tongue. Well, it all starts many long years ago. Another stroke on the paper. With two sisters born under the same moon, both blessed with incredible beauty, honor, and a desire to show themselves to the world. But they were not born of the same ranking. Their mother was of noble blood, their father a peasant. When the time came to decide if they would be able to take up their own mother's noble title, it was decided that if they were to have the honor to be of noble birth, then only one of them could ascend. She draws more strokes on the paper, at this point nearly reaching the end of it.
That doesn't seem fair.
It is not, but such is the way of nobility. Lines of dissension are paved in blood. The sister who claimed herself of the sun defeated the sister who claimed herself of the moon, scarring her horribly and casting her out so that she may never roam these lands freely again. Going on to live a glorious and decorated life, while her moon-touched sister, though they were both born of the moon, simply slipped into shadows. At this point, she finishes the last brush stroke and lifts the paper scroll up.
That is a rather somber tale.
Yes, it is.
It is a shame that one could do that to their family, though. I guess when I Hector looks like generally kind of like lost for words, though her face is kind of expressioned like a. I feel a lot of empathy for the other sister.
I mean, just because you're related to someone by blood doesn't necessarily mean that you're obligated to like them or help them. Not saying you shouldn't be, but
just to scar them and then cast them away? is awful.
Perhaps she had her reasons. But the story speaks not of what they were.
I mean, siblings can scar siblings. Parents can scar children.
She rolls the scroll up and offers it to you, Kepta.
Thank you. And she'll bow in the best way that she can, kind of mimicking the style that she's seen.
The old woman nods.
Would you maybe want some? Are you sure you don't want anything to eat for the road? Or anything?
She seems to look past you for a moment.
Can I look to where she's looking?
You glance back and see Dravinche, who is clearly moved backwards defensively.
He's still keeping a straight face, but he is stepped back closer towards the cart, almost like he was going to lean up against it.
Okay. I would say make a deception check then, because the typing of his actions implied defensive posture.
Sorry. A nat 20
Jesus.
or a 27.
Just innocent whistling.
Yeah, Captain Dravinche just looks like he's leaning against the cart.
Ketchup kind of cocks her head for a moment and just kind of brushes off because Dravinche is just Dravinche.
It would seem I may not be wanted.
And my friends are weird.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Dravinche,
Please
you
don't
do get
mind
the
me.
sense that she looked at you and you felt like someone looked through you for a second.
Oh, please don't mind me. I just wanting to lean against the cart is all.
You know, I've never seen paint being made. That's the first time I've ever seen paint being made.
If you intend to stay in the Lotus Citadel for a time, perhaps I'll catch up to you. And maybe I can show you a bit more.
I would like that. This may sound weird, but could I hug you? You've done something very nice for me, and I would like to have your permission to hug you.
Such a cute little girl. Of course. Don't mind my back, it is still a bit sore.
And she'll nod and be very gentle with hugging her.
Yeah, you wrap your arms around this old woman, and she feels creaky, is the best way to describe it.
It's nothing Kat is probably not too unused to with the LA.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll cherish this.
Keep it on your person, and hopefully it will ward off the unwanted eyes of unnecessary onlookers.
And she nods and safe travels.
She nods. Seems to start getting out the materials to set up a tent.
If allowed, I'll help her pitch a tent so she doesn't have to strain herself too much.
And you do so. It doesn't take very long. It's a simple thing she sets up and just rolls out a bedroll.
Well, since you're You're well set up. And are in a state where you can keep going on the morrow. I think it's a good time for us to make our own way.
I mean, aren't we gonna bed down soon enough?
We still got a bit more. Still have a bit more traveling to do before we call it for the night.
Okay. But before we leave, and just kind of, we're very quietly, Keta actually kind of pulls out one of her little like sketchbook doodles. It's not the greatest, but she leaves it with like a little piece of candy next to the tent. It's like a little bow.
All right, you do so.
And she'll just kind of head back to Scarred if that's what it's like, oh yeah, we're traveling. She's not thinking any much more of it.
Fair enough. You all load back into the cart and continue onwards for, unless anyone else has something they'd like to do.
Fairy's just gonna bid her goodbye and hop back on the cart. She was above game. I was trying to think of how can I invite this old lady into the cart.
I mean, you
Oh,
could
no.
still try, but she seems to be setting herself up to stay here. She seems to have turned down any other invitations thus far.
Are you sure you don't want to travel with us? We're heading to the same place.
I am. I'm fine. I'll arrive there before too long. A few more days. A week at most. I'm packed and ready for as such.
Well, do try to take more breaks between walking.
I will. May your travels be safe.
Yours as well.
And yours as well.
Well, Fairy tried.
Giving Da Vinci a heart attack.
Listen, you can't just keep adopting old women.
You can't stop Fairy from adopting old women.
I technically can.
I think he's the only one that really has the authority to.
All right.
You can't stop her from trying.
Insofar as DM says no. DM rolls the D0.
And just once we're back in the cart. This is one of the most loveliest pieces I've ever had. I'm going to keep it on me always. She's just looking over the charm.
Yes. Once the door's closed and the cart starts moving. Yes, those pieces are most commonly painted by professional priests in the most elegant manner.
Cheetah is very elegant.
Indeed, rivals that of any other priest that I have seen work.
Do you think she could have been a retired one?
Hey, Keta,
Dude.
can I look at that?
As long as you give it back.
I won't eat it.
Well, I don't know if you're going to stash it in your hoard of things.
I also just wanted to see if this is actually a charm or if it's just an old lady that's very good at calligraphy.
Fair enough.
Ketchel offered up, and just of note for the magic of the area, Ketchel does in fact believe that this is a full-on charm that will protect her.
Those who very subtly cast Identify.
Alright.
I'll blow the sorcery points to cast Subtle Spell as she just looks it over innocently.
I mean, I was offering it up to you.
Oh, yeah, she's looking over. She's just making sure it's a. She's quickly casting a spell to make sure it's an actual charm.
I mean, do remember that even quickly casting Identify still requires you to hold it for a minute.
I mean, yeah, Failsy holds things for a minute often.
Yeah.
She likes to stare.
So, Da Vinci, do you bring the? I mean, can't priests retire here? Are they like forced to be priest forever?
I've never heard of a priest particularly retiring. Any priests that live to that age are highly regarded, and very often it's a position for life.
I mean, is it possible, like, maybe she was going to be one, and then something happened where she couldn't, but she learned how to do it, and kind of, did it in the spare time? I don't know.
She did. She did mention she had somebody to teach once, but life happens.
Although, that story,
Yes, exactly. Keta, I think we ended up being very lucky.
wait,
Like,
so that story was about sisters. I mean, I admit I wasn't fully paying attention, but I did catch, two sisters, noble blood, partially. One is
Oh, this-
noble, one was cast out. So,
one is of the sun.
huh. Okay, I think I see what you mean, Jermaine Chan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, God.
that was very.
I think Percy knows about this stuff.
This is kind of something you're all vaguely aware of, but it's mostly something that Dravinche knows. Because he's explained it to you guys a little bit.
Yeah, Brimstone thinks he knows where Da Vinci is going with this, but
The reason we needed that perfume.
Yes, I believe that was the painter.
But didn't you say that they say not to show emotions around her?
I mean,
That is what I was informed, that and she sees it as weakness.
but who said that?
That would be Tim who said that.
Okay, so it's at least more of an objective source. It's not like you heard it from. Well, even then, maybe.
Maybe
I-
it's good to see her and she's in a position of power, not trying to trick you. Otherwise, she'd be attacking a hell of a lot. A lot of people would be dead.
Well,
I guess
By the way,
Hmm.
your identification would go off. So,
Fazzy, what's your maximum HP? Ooh.
No. Your identification goes off, and it's a very bizarre thing that you read from this. You feel like this is almost a completed version of the spell you've been aware of previously of protection from good and evil. But it's missing the components of the spell that would set the duration or strict targets.
So this has no duration, and what's it protecting against?
You seem to notice it seems to just be the spell protection of good and evil, but the duration has been removed, and it's like a weak passive version of the spell.
Okay, so it is still active. It's just not the spell.
Yeah, it's as if you took the spell protection from good and evil, but made it a passive ability as opposed to a spell that you would actively control.
A passive, semi-permanent, as far as Tailsy can tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's weird because you've never seen a spell be deconstructed like this.
And Failsy just cottoning onto that might be the painter. It's like, is she taking pupils?
I mean, she did offer to teach me.
What?
I mentioned that I never had seen paint made before, and she said that if I'm still around in the Citadel, and she found me, if you could show me.
No, I'm just confused why Failsy said that.
Tailsy,
Last thing,
have
was this
something you'd like to share?
Was this did I figure out what it's protecting against?
It didn't
It
seem
seems
have a
to
specific
just
target.
it does not have a specific target. It seems to be protecting against the best way you can describe it, despite the fact that this is not really something you can recognize necessarily, is protecting against evil intent.
Assumedly, for what she said, men of ill intent. For when she was making it.
Well, on the plus side, this charm is honest, she says, handing it back.
Eh. I mean,
Yeah.
that's good.
It's very bizarre, Filzy. It feels both too simple and too complicated for you to fully grasp what is going on in the magic of that charm.
I got a bit lost in the weave of it.
I mean, if the painter is as they say he is, maybe we got lucky. On the other hand, this might be a situation much like the Fae in that we're apparently supposed to go do something with in the mountains, where just because they're evil doesn't necessarily mean we can judge them with the same brush we can judge, like, Arya.
I mean,
The Radiant.
I can say this, that when I healed her, I did feel that, like, it attached to healing something. She was injured.
I mean, maybe.
I'm sorry, but forgive me for being at least scared for my own life.
No, I
mean,
I
you're
get
not.
that, Dravinche. I'm just saying, just because. I mean, I guess I don't know where Tim gets his information from.
It
For
could
all I
also
know.
be a case of keeping up the disguise.
That's also possible. I don't know, but
If we met her without her disguise, then she may have acted very differently. We
It
don't
might be.
know.
I mean,
Do you think maybe it was a test?
Well, if it was,
Could've
hopefully
been.
we passed.
Could have been a test. Could could have been keeping up disguises. I mean, if that was the painter. As far as I know, she's pretty goddamn powerful, so it would make sense, I suppose.
I'm just glad I had the foresight to put on my perfume thinking it was going to be a yokai.
I mean, yeah, probably for the best. I mean, as far
But
as those wounds go, I mean, didn't the story say that
her sister scarred her.
exactly? And for all we know, these are wounds that don't exactly heal, because
See her in her
Spirit.
soul.
if the other sister is Dravenchi, I forget her name. Not Fuyumi.
Akari?
Her. I don't know, maybe when you burn someone's soul, that's a wound that doesn't fully heal.
And I'm going to specify that the story Tim told me was that in the battle, half of her face was torn off.
But that just. I mean, I guess I understand battles and trying to get a spot that you believe to be rightfully yours, but it seems still harsh.
Like I
That's
said,
the reality of a fight.
siblings can scar siblings. Parents can scar children. Or the other way around. Just because you're related to somebody doesn't mean you even have to like them.
Yeah.
I mean, it also doesn't mean I can't still feel empathy for somebody.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying blood doesn't mean shit.
And then to get painted with a brush that, I mean, you get titles and stories told about you for a reason, but maybe some are just exaggerated.
It's entirely possible. We won't
also-
know until something forces us to.
And also, another thing to note, Keta, is you're dealing with a culture that's very different to your own.
I mean, I'd imagine the principle of respect still remains the same, even if the modes of showing it are different. And for the most part, it's not like we were disrespectful to that woman, so if she is the painter, if she's just some auspicious person, I have no goddamn idea. But if it is, I would imagine that even then, there's some modicum of respect that we showed that would give us more favor if we encounter her again.
I mean, we might. If
I mean, we're going to have to.
Have we left the area, or we just sort of
Oh no, this is while we're moving still.
okay? It's like this must be really rude. We just jumped in the cart and we've been talking about it the entire time.
Oh yeah, no.
No, I assume you guys. This is
No.
probably after you guys have gone like a few hundreds or so
Out of
more
earshot.
meters ahead, and then park the cart again.
Yeah, because
Like
I would
probably
imagine,
like a good half mile.
yeah, because I would imagine Revenge wouldn't start doing it until we're a good bit away, just in case. Because you know, she wants to try to eat his soul, as far as we're aware, or enslave it. Either one.
it might be possible you might run into her at the Citadel again.
And that worries me.
I mean, we have to eventually.
Mm,
Doesn't she have a piece of Altea? Don't we still need to talk to her about, the sword, even if we don't have to necessarily worry about Elway dying from it?
You might be able to help me.
There's a large number of ifs, ands, or buts. Yes, we do need. There is still the intention of communicating back with her, potentially on different terms. That is why the plan has been, after getting to Blossom Kingdom and seeing Gregory pulled through this situation, we go to Gladius Tower, and for precisely that reason. And she was heading towards our direction, wasn't she, Brimstone?
That's what she said. Doesn't necessarily mean that's entirely true.
No. I mean, like when he saw her walking, was she
Oh.
walking alongside the cart or towards the cart?
I believe she was walking in the same direction as the car, yes.
Okay.
I'm asking Ash to confirm, but that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seemed to also be heading towards the Citadel.
Yeah, she seemed to be heading towards the Citadel, yeah. But like,
that makes me worried that something's going to happen when we're there.
I'm getting really goddamn tired of shit like that happening, honestly. But maybe it's possible. I don't know.
Maybe she's trying to make amends.
Maybe. Though I don't really think that she would be the one to make amends if she was the one that was scarred. Personally, but I guess I can empathize.
I think that no matter what, we're probably not going to figure it out tonight worrying this much about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as
Go to fucking bed.
just as long as we don't end up going to sleep and next thing we know I wake up somewhere else. Again.
Listen, Javinci,
Looking,
would it be that weird?
I mean, yeah, remember the whole thing where, if you believe something hard enough, it might come true? Yeah, let's not do that.
yeah, ascribing to a good thing, I now have a protective charm against those of ill.
To be fair, though, every time someone's stolen you away in the night, they bring you back.
Sometimes they don't
Gives a
even really,
thumbs
like... Sometimes they really don't even, like, steal him physically. It's more just,
Can I be the one stolen next? I'm curious what happens when you get stolen.
Lily! Oh, no, but who am I supposed to cuddle with?
Listen,
It really
listen, I'll be back. Also, I'm pretty sure literally everyone in this cart would cuddle you if you asked them. Except for maybe
I
Brimstone.
don't think they're. Or Da Vinci, may. I don't think Da Vinci would.
I don't know, Da Vinci seems like the type to cuddle.
I can. But I highly doubt you would ask.
Let's just, not think about anyone being kidnapped before this place makes it happen.
Yeah, please, no.
I would just generally, err on the side of caution on that.
Well, we should probably get some rest. Do we want to do watches?
That's probably not a bad idea.
I'll take a watch.
I would recommend, if we can, do watches in pairs, just in case.
Lee, do you want to be my buddy?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. So, I have my buddy.
Right. Do we let Da Vinci go outside at all?
I don't. If what he says is true, and that is an if, I do not think that would be a good idea.
Well, it's also
Alright.
his decision to make.
I'm mostly joking, but it's also kind of true.
I mean,
No, they are
know.
right.
do we know how long that perfume lasts?
To my understanding, it's about an hour, right?
Pretty much each application. I mean, assuming you don't get like wet or sweat at all, it should last longer. But about an hour per average day, yeah.
Well, I'll need to make sure I apply it before I go out and while I'm out.
I mean, the problem is we only got so much.
But
That's
should I
why
give
I've
you
been
a
trying-
use count for the bottle?
Yes, please.
I don't think you did, no.
I believe it was 20 uses.
Okay, so it'll be 19 now. If you did, I don't remember it.
I believe
yeah.
it's 20 uses because that makes sense for a small bottle of perfume.
That sounds right, yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I'm not gonna make your decision for you on that, Dravinci, but
I'm okay with doing a watch if I have someone else with me.
I'll do it with you.
Okay, I'll make sure to put on the perfume as much as I can. I just hope you didn't get a whiff of me before.
I mean, I guess we don't necessarily know how strong her senses are. But that's not helping the situation, so
We look on the bright side.
Yeah.
And try not to think about it too much, because if we think about it too much, it's gonna happen. You want a candy, Da Vinci?
I'm good. I still have that little piece that you made to cheer me up.
No.
You did.
Uh,
You didn't have to do that.
it's fine. So do we need to do just one more watch set?
I suppose me and Jamel should do our civic duty and
Sit out under the moonlight and make out? I mean, do a watch?
yes.
We could do both.
I'm observant.
I mean, I guess you can. I don't really know how effective it's gonna be, but
I'm observant, Thorley.
Lee, how about you and I take first watch?
Okay. Right. We'll go ahead and do these watches real quick. So Keta and Lee are taking first watch. Who wants to take like dead of night watch?
I guess given what we were saying, that would be Morrigan and Da Vinci.
I'm good with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah,
Jamel
but,
get the sunrise.
but peak moonlight is the perfect time for midnight makeout session. Not that I guess it can happen.
Listen, peak moonlight and early morning sunrise. Both are perfect.
Alright, I'll give you that.
It's more. No, I'm not going to say that line. We're on stream.
Probably not. Probably for the best.
Okay. All right. So, Keta, you're going to have advantage because Lee is just going to assist you. It is dark out, so technically this is just a straight roll.
So just straight roll.
Unless you want to use light, but that will make a beacon of the cart.
I have dark vision.
That doesn't make you see clearly at night. That gives
It
you
just means you
dim
can.
light vision.
That's a 20.
Nice. Alrighty then.
I forgot. Yeah, Keta is the one who has the highest perception on our party.
She do have them eyeballs though.
She's sitting in, kind of occasionally doodling a flower that she finds pretty.
Alrighty then. Not really many flowers out to be seen right now, given the fact that it's nighttime. They've all closed. But you're just out there with Lee, just occasionally idly chatting and doodling some things that you see. The night sky is relatively clear. There's a wonderful view of the stars in the sky right now. and you see the now growing to about half towards new at this point moon.
None.
The watch is uneventful.
Just before Keta goes on, she just looks up at the moon and goes, I hope that wherever Mom is and everybody who cares about me is looking up at the same pretty moon and thinking about me.
I hope they're asleep.
God damn it, Lee.
And
lay down.
knowing Mom, not asleep.
That's sad.
But-
She should get
Yes.
herself a full night's sleep.
You and I have things to do, Lee. Let's go. Let's go wake up the other ones.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Alright.
Go wake up the other two so they can take their watch.
Morgan and Dravinci.
Ye-
At this point, it is the dark of night. Luckily, because the moon is still half in the sky, it's not 100% pitch black outside, but it is still very dark.
mhm.
So we can either both roll with disadvantage or one assist the other for straight roll.
But hey, at least Dravinci can kind of see in the dark now.
Yes.
Dravinci, it's very odd to get used to the fact that you can see in the dark now. That was a thing that did not get explained to you.
It's like the first time it happens. What the fuck?
Hmm. Huh, I didn't. It's not as dark as it usually is.
But it's all gray.
I guess whatever happened gave you the ability to see like we can in the dark.
Wait, this is what it always looks like to you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Damn, I've been missing out.
Just puts on the goggles of night vision. Well, what do you know?
Extend.
yeah, that just gives him an extra 60 feet.
I mean, considering he's got those, if you'd want to use those to get the extra amount of vision, I mean, Morgan could give Dravinci advantage, or straight roll.
Who just died?
Myth.
Yeah.
I killed Myth.
Just happened.
Sorry.
Enter, and then my Discord just restarted on its own.
Ah, that's always fun.
So I don't know. Anyways, continue.
Gotcha.
But sure, yeah, I can roll it at straight.
Yee.
But can you actually roll
think-
straight? Dravinci seems like he swings both ways.
Maybe a little bit. Well, there's that roll. So,
We'll see.
you're both. This is how I'll describe it. It's not that you're both not paying attention, it's that you end up getting distracted talking to each other.
I mean, knowing these two, that's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
That checks out.
You just end up getting distracted talking about things and not realizing as something is approaching. Until you just hear behind you just hello.
Tell you here behind you. What are you doing in me swamp?
Shut up, Myth.
No.
Renje is going to try to be as straight-faced as possible and look towards the sound of the voice.
Morgan's gonna
Hello.
look as well.
It's rather late to be out.
You turn around to see this.
Mmm.
You turn around to see a cracked ass looking up towards you.
You roboted hard, so I heard cracking ass.
Nice!
Yeah.
It's a wise cracking ass.
You turn around to see a
And a
white
green ogre.
shut up. A white cracked mask looking up towards you. And several illuminated at the tips tails just swishing about it behind it. Good to see you both well.
Da Vinci is going to stand up on top of the cart and give a bow. A deep one.
Surprisingly, she bows her head in return.
Morgan just like copying Da Vinci because this seems like the right thing to do to not die.
I'll be simple about this. You smell of my sister. You both do, though I feel like one of you it is merely a consequence of the other.
Did that, was that on all of us?
No, just on the two of you.
Oh, Morgan's like going red in the face.
Even though Da Vinci used a perfume before he went on shift.
You seem to think you get the idea that she's talking retroactively. Because you did not use it whenever you would not used it by the time you had poked your head out of the cart the first time.
Yes, because it's limited uses. You didn't know you needed to use it.
Understandable. By the way, the reason why it only has 20 uses is because you literally have to cover your entire body in it, not just your wrists. You have to use it like a 12 to 15-year-old boy uses Axe body spray.
But that would mean there's only one use.
Exactly.
That's really expensive.
I'll make my point very simply. You smell of her, which means you have a connection to her. This is correct?
I would not lie. I have been in her employ at one point.
Wonderful. When next you see her, tell her that her sister wishes to speak. And she just turns around and starts walking back down the road.
Understood. As she's walking away, Da Vinci is just going to shout. And thank you again for assisting our young traveler.
There's no response.
Once she is out of eye shot, like 10 minutes pass, make sure she's out of earshot. Oh. Okay. That went better than I had hoped.
Yes, it fucking did. Morgan just like grabs him in a hug, kind of panicked.
You do so. You both notice there's something odd, though. There's something hard between you, like against your chest.
Look down.
Yeah, look down.
You both notice that there's a lump in Jervinche's shirt.
Reach for the lump.
It's another sending stone.
That. What does this sending stone look like?
To describe this one, it is a simple, perfectly round stone, nearly to the point of being a sphere. It is sectioned off, similarly to a marble, with colored stripes of glass, one of each of the primary and secondary colors.
Understood. It seems I have a delivery to make.
I think of all the outcomes of what would happen if you encountered her. Just being asked to give a message is pretty damn good. Didn't even sound like a malicious one, but we have no control over how the message is taken.
I don't know how Akari would react to this. Mm. But I'm not going to have much sleep tonight.
Alright. The rest of your watch goes by uneventfully. Which, by the way, that only happened because I rolled a 1 on the encounter table.
Oh no!
Of course.
Rolls another 1. I'm back. I need to clarify something. No.
Just comes back with Jamel and fails you making up and just, you're very loud. Please keep it down.
Alright. But the rest of the watch goes by uneventfully.
I've returned for the baby. Is she just the Goblin King?
Just steals Keta. I'm going to raise this as my own.
Ah.
Go wake up Failsy and Jamel. Hope they're not already awake, if you catch my drift.
No, they're waiting.
What do you mean? They're always awake.
It takes a long time to wake Jamel up, actually, though. Like 10 minutes trying to wake her up.
Nine of those is trying to find Failsy wrapped up somewhere within the cocoon.
No, she just sleeps on top of Jamel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jamel is cozy. Jamel don't want to get out of bed.
There's no bed, it's just Jamel, and then just Failsy sleeping on top of her.
It basically is. Jamel does not sleep on a bed. She sleeps on the floor.
That's fair. It's more comfortable for her, I suppose.
Keta have similar sleeping arrangements. Just sleep on top of spouse.
Yeah, sleep on top of partner.
It's easier for Failsy, though. Because Jamel is much bigger than her.
I mean, Lee is much bigger than Keta, but not to the same degree.
Any hoozles.
Come on.
Just grumbles the entire time.
I mean, that's probably why it takes 10 minutes. Because Jamel just swatting at them, and because, it's Jamel, she's got a giant fucking hand.
Yeah. But eventually, you get her up and get her out of there. So let's go ahead and... She'll provide assistance for your perception so that you can make a straight roll.
Fails remembers to drag Jamel's hammer with her.
No, you just grab the bag that Jamel keeps it in.
Okay, rolling. Perception.
Perception. 12. Alright, this watch goes by uneventfully.
So no clarifying painters.
No clarifying painters. Humorously, everyone is eventually stirred to awakeness by the cart rocking. Not really, though. The shaking of the cart on the outside does not affect the internal diameter of the cart.
Oh god.
They bang in on the roof.
I just think it's funny, like, Broomstone didn't take a watch, but he's still probably up, like, halfway through theirs. Just because he can't sleep anymore. Just like, alright, I've slept for 6 hours, I'm done.
Pretty much. Alright. But, with the day lying ahead of you to continue your travel, that is where we're going to call it for tonight. Which ended up going longer than I expected to, but it always does.
I'm not dead!
Yet.
I hugged the painter.
You smell like my sister. Anyways, Kirby.exe activated.
Andy, the kindness that was shown to the painter might be why we had a fucking just good encounter, okay?
Maybe.
It's okay. It's so
It's also possible. It's also possible the painter has been painted in a very bad light.
You know what? That's fair too.
That's Keta's view on the moment because she
And
feels
maybe
very.
she's just mean because people keep being mean to her, and she's just really tired of the bullshit.
And then one party of travelers just shows her just a little bit of kindness, and she's like, okay.
I won't steal your soul. However, I am keeping this baby. And that's when Elway and the painter are just fucking slugging it.
Anyway,
That's what's gonna end up happening. Is just someone's going to steal Keta, and just all the NPCs we've made friends with along the way are going to just beat the shit out of them.
anyway. So, Ash, you called end to session?
Yeah.
Do you want to give credit to whoever did the art of the painter?
Yes, though I don't currently have a link to their account. This is my typical artist I get a lot of my art done by that isn't Failsy. The person, not the character, though technically they're kind of one and the same.
What? No.
By Pastel Deity on Twitter. Or Damon if you like raunchy.
Yes, the same artist who did the art back during the basically our Halloween special. They made the art for the puppets.
Yes. Yeah, they made the art for the puppet, who you all know now is Argus. And they've done a couple of different character arts that have been seen so far. They're also the person who did the artwork for Sonata.
Yee! The precious bean.
They're an artist I go back to quite often.
They have a lovely style, I see why.
Some barbecue.
Alright, so with the artists for this NPC shouted out, does anybody else have anything they would like to shout out, promote, or just announce?
I'm starting a new hobby.
Drugs.
Making aggressively odd milkshakes.
That and scrapbooking.
Hmm.
Nice.
I like mine more.
That's it.
Shout out,
I've picked up a new hobby.
shout out to memes for keeping our sanity in these trying times.
You assume I had that.
Shout out to the Devil Corporation Amazon for permitting me to taste the candies of other countries. I hate their business practices, but man, is it convenient.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't particularly have anything for myself, so anybody else, even if it is a joke one?
No.
Failsy?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Alright, so if you enjoyed this and you want to find out what happens next, if we're actually ever going to get to the pardon me, Blossom Kingdom to make sure Morrigan's dad don't die, you can join us most Saturdays on this same channel at or around 8 p.m. EST for the next sessions of the Scattered Realms. And who knows, may or may not do random streams throughout the week, so if you're interested in that, I guess check. But definitely join us or come to this channel most Saturdays at or around 8 p.m. EST for more D&D fun. So,
I always enjoy reading back through you guys' chat log that I don't read while we play.
so with all that said, I think we're good for the night.
Ooh.
Alright, so everybody say goodnight.
Night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you when we see you next.